Well, good morning, everybody. What I wanted to do today was to talk about the discussion boards. And so I'm just going to take you through those and go over the directions, bring those discussion boards to your attention. They're not all due at the same time. They're interdispersed through the semester. So that's my purpose today. Okay, so I'm in student view within Canvas, and so I'm going to go right to discussions. And I like the icebreaker discussion board. It seemed like it went pretty well. I haven't given you a weekly discussion board in this class, but we should probably have a few. And you can also help me out by giving me some feedback on some of my meteorology and myth research. So the rest of the discussion boards, or the next three discussion boards, have to do with my research project. And then also there was the discussion board that actually launched at the beginning of the semester, the weather photo. Let me go ahead and go over that one right now because this one was launched first, but it's the one that's not due all the way until December. Now, I've done projects like this in some of my other classes, and it's always worked out very well. Here's what you need to do. Okay, I'm just going to read the directions to you. You can follow along with this. Take a photo of something that you demonstrates a concept in weather and climate. Now, most students would probably take a picture with their smartphones. Now, it does have to be your original photo, not something that you just looked up on Bing Images or Google search. But your subject matter can be anything in meteorology and climatology. Don't get the idea that you have to go out there and wait for a tornado because this guy is taking one, but that's an example of taking a picture of the sky, and you could explain that. But there's other aspects of weather and climate that you could also show. Maybe there'll be an ice storm, and you'll get the icicles hanging off of the trees and so forth. And you could talk about the dynamics of an ice storm. Or how about a drought? You know, uh, is it possible to take a picture of a drought? How would you do that? Well, that's just a couple ideas. And of course, previously, I had you look at some cloud photos. So the different kinds of clouds and what they say about what's going on in the atmosphere. So it can be any subject. What you have to do is you have to explain how your photo exemplifies a concept. Now, there's going to be a write-up for this too. You'll write up a summary caption, and also you'll include the where and when as part of your report too. One way to think about writing the figure caption is look at some of the images, graphics, graphs, photos that are in your textbook. There's always a caption of them, right? And so they describe them in some way. That's kind of what you would do. Maybe embellish it a little bit more. What are we, the readers, supposed to see from your image? Okay. And also, when you're writing this up, include the photo location. You'll have a little inset map, use Google Maps or some other program that can put a push pin in where this photo was taken. And then also you'll have a snazzy title for your photo as well. All right, now here's where I want to make sure that this is clear. So I want you to arrange all of these things on a single 4-slide PowerPoint slideshow file. Now, I'm going to have to keep you to working with PowerPoint. Now, sometimes people use other programs and so forth, Apple things, which a lot of times my computer won't read those. So it's okay if you make it with that, but you're going to have to convert it to a PowerPoint file at some time. If you need help with that, I'd be happy to help you out with creating the PowerPoint. All right, now the main thing here is that the photo is the main part of the presentation. The first slide is going to be the title slide. So it's going to have your name, and it's going to have the title of the report, which is the photograph. The second slide will be the photograph. That's the main body of your PowerPoint slideshow. And it should be filling up most of the slide. The third slide will be the description of it. And in the description, make sure that you have the time and date, location with that. And then the fourth slide will be any references that you use, because if you're describing the meteorology and if you're using references, then cite those. If you're going to cite your textbook, that's fine, or something else that you use. And that would be a good place to put your reference location map as well. All right, so what you need to do is make a 4-slide PowerPoint file. Now, when you attach these to the discussion board, make sure that your name is part of the PowerPoint file name. Because a lot of times with discussion board posts or reports that students send, they title the file geography or something like that. And well, it should have your name, John Smith, cumulus cloud development photo, and weather and climate and so forth. So I know that it's you. All right. Now also it's a discussion board. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to read the other students' files, uh, that you'll have to open their files and view their slideshows, and then also make comments and put likes on them and so forth. Who will get the most likes? And if you have any questions about the technical aspects of it, you can just email me. You can just call me if you want to, or you can put the question in the Ask Dr. Edgell discussion above. Then some other students might have the same question. Now, one warning I should probably make is that when you're going out and you're making your photography, please be safe about it. Don't put yourself in any type of weather danger by doing this. And of course, be polite. Now, if you're taking a picture of people, make sure that you have their permission first. Okay. Well, this has been posted since the beginning of the semester. You can start anytime. This is not due until finals week. All right, so this is always a fun thing to do. You can start anytime with this. And oh, well, here's what I say. This is your chance to tell your story. Do you have a weather story out there, or maybe you will have a weather story? This is your chance to do that. Okay, so that's the photo contest. Let's take a look at some of the other discussions. I'll quickly go over these. Now, these are all active right now, but I put on the directions. There's a tentative start date when you should be working on them. There's a due date, and then I also put a tentative start date. So that means you can start on these beforehand if you wanted to. All right, let's take a look. Now the first one is called a fair Candlemas. This is part of my research, and so what you have is an unnarrated slideshow. It's supposed to be read. There's no narration, there's no sound either. Maybe if I had a good student that wanted to compose music for some of these slideshows, I could hire a student to make that music. Let me know if you're interested in that type of thing. So there's a slideshow to watch. A Fair Candlemas is all about the Groundhog Day legend. And usually when Groundhog Day starts to roll around in early February, students ask me, is there any truth to the Groundhog Day legend? And I always tell them, well, meteorologically, it doesn't make any sense, but climatologically, there may be something to it. And so that's what I have here. So what you're supposed to do, now this is a very easy discussion board. All you have to do is answer the question, what was something that you learned from the presentation that you didn't know about previously? Give me a comment, observation, or a question that you have for me in that. Remember, as much as possible, read some of the other student comments, put a like on theirs, on their comments as well. What's the link on this? Well, we're looking at a couple of paragraphs or a page for that. For planning purposes, students should probably be working on this on or about September 26th. So next week, because then it will be due all the way October 11th. That's the lead up to fall break. So it'll give you something to do, and then you can go have your fall break. And then the next one, the sky deities of Japan, Rajan and Fujan. All right, and so once again, this is part of my meteorology and myth research, and what I'd like you to do is view the slideshow. Again, there is no narration. Maybe a student could compose music for me. That would be great. So read the slideshow, and again, just tell me, give me a comment, observation, or question, something that you didn't know otherwise. And again, read the other students' perceptions and put a like on those. All right, so for planning purposes, students should be working on that one on or about October 10th. So you turn the other one in, you start working on that again. That'll give you something to do on the lead up to fall break. Now I'll send some reminders out about the discussion boards as I go along. And there's also in Canvas modules, there's the README module. Under that, there is a about discussion board, so I'll put some reminders in there as well. All right, so that one, it's also part of my research on meteorology and myth. And then go back, then there's one more. This one's not a video, it's a poster. Krishna's Monsoon Swing. So what I'm going to ask you to do is you can download or view the JPEG. You're going to look at it in detail. This is a poster mock-up. But this one, though, I have a different assignment for you. I want you to look at the poster, try to learn something from it. And this is actually a little bit harder than the other ones. Well, first off, write a comment, observation, and question. Of course, that's important. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to find an internet news article about this year's monsoon season. And so write a short summary. What was the story about? What did you learn? Make sure to include the web link. I imagine most people will be doing an internet search in order to find a news article from South Asia. All right, or from our country, NOAA, maybe writing about it and so forth. So find a reference, but I wanted to make it topical. So it's what's going on this year is the wet monsoon season starts to wind down by this point. We'll be in the dry monsoon by the time that this is due. So this one, students should be working on it on or about November 3rd. And then getting back, when's the due date on that? I think that's the lead up to Thanksgiving week. Yes. That'll give you something to do on that. Also is a short week, the lead up to Thanksgiving week. Now it might be over Thanksgiving vacation that you have an opportunity to travel and you could take your weather photo. Certainly by that time, better get going on it by Thanksgiving week. Okay, well, I hope that informed you about what you needed to do for the discussion boards. Of course, you could always email me, call me, or add to the Ask Dr. Edgell forum. I'm going to go back home. So here we are in student view. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and I'll see you online asynchronously.